Hey guys, it's Liz from blueandhazel.com and welcome to my homeschool channel. Today I want to do an update video for you on what it's been like for us to use Ambleside Online for the first term. So we just finished our 12-week term. We kind of went by the readings from these printouts from Ambleside, and I would color in the readings for each of the kids as we went through each week, 1 through 12. And yeah, it's just been a really crazy change for us. We've never done Charlotte Mason homeschooling in its fullness before. We've kind of done things here and there like picture study, nature study, but never really like done narrations before. Never tried to fit in all of the different parts and pieces that are, going with the Charlotte Mason education. And we've certainly never done this much reading. And so we had a lot of transitions. We also moved cities during the first term. And so we had to take extra weeks to finish our 12 weeks. I obviously had a big interruption there and couldn't finish in the time frame, which is fine. So if you ever need to go slower, it's really not a big deal. We just didn't move on to the next week until we crossed off all of the readings from a certain week, then we'd move on. So sometimes we'd end up taking, say, like 2 weeks to do 1 week of material, especially when I had a lot of other stuff going on. But we made it, and I wanted to give you an update on how it went. So overall, I'd say, in a positive way, we're going to keep going. So it went well. We finished. We learned a ton. I've made some changes. I've cut some stuff out. And then I also feel like we're in a good enough groove now where I can add some stuff in for term 2 that we just no way could not have added in at term 1. So I want to tell you what those things are. So some things that went really well for us term 1. Copywork. I'm really proud of my kids transitioning from, they were used to doing copywork once a week last year. And then we do like some other handwriting without tears, cursive stuff on the other days. To this year, we're doing a little bit of copywork, like 5 to 10 minutes every single day. So that was one change for them. And they did well, especially because we kept it short, so it wasn't overwhelming. And then we also decided to really just drop our cursive notebooks. The kids are not that excited about learning cursive, and I had a chat with my husband, and neither of us really care if our kids want to be amazing at cursive. So if they want to learn, they can, but we don't really care to push it right now. So we're gonna put that aside and just do copywork. The other thing that was totally new for us and has been awesome to learn how to do, honestly, is narrating. So narrations are brand new to us. I read the book No and Tell, and it was a lifesaver for Ambleside Online. So if you are new to Charlotte Mason, new to Ambleside Online, or if you've just never read this book, seriously, go buy it right now, borrow it. Maybe your library has it. It's so amazing. So it helped me to just know what to expect from a year 1 6-year-old, what to expect from a 3rd grader, a 4th grader, what to expect as they transition into written narrations later, what to expect eventually when we start transitioning into writing and to composition. And so kind of gave me like a mental timeline as well as so many practical tips on my expectations for my kids and what to do when they say, I don't know, or how to maybe give them sample narrations, especially in the beginning when they're new to it. And so now I feel like my year 4 is a rock star. He's doing awesome. My year 3 has gone from being like, what am I supposed to be doing? This is so hard. Maybe a couple sentences of something to she gives really pretty good narrations now. I think she's still getting better, but I'm really proud of her. My year 1 is still pretty struggling with it, but I think that's normal. They say it can take a whole year for your 6-year-old to learn how to narrate, or a brand new young Charlotte Mason, student learning how to narrate. So I feel like he's right where he's supposed to be, and that book has given me tools to help him. So I don't feel stressed that his are short, or sometimes that he forgets it all, it seems like. But I knew I wanted to really invest in learning how to do it, learning what to expect, and not skipping it. So for every single book reading, we do a narration. I should say for every single scheduled book reading, we do a narration. So for free reads, we don't narrate. Books that I read outside of our scheduled readings, we don't narrate. Another thing that I would say has been really helpful this term is handing over as many reads to my year 4 as I could. At first, the first few weeks, I read everything. So I read all of the readings to year 1, 3, and 4, and it was way too much. So I was just exhausted. Like my voice was going hoarse by the end of the day. I felt like this is so much reading. I know year 4 has a lot more reading than year 3, and year 1 is pretty light, but still all combined it was too much. Like if I had a year 4 who was not capable of reading that, then we would probably need to transition to me handing over some audiobooks of school readings because it was just too much. But he was capable. I gave him one book at a time. He was obviously able to narrate it, so I knew he was comprehending it. And then I gave him another book and another one until he was doing all of them on his own except for Robinson Crusoe. And we also did Madam How and Lady Y together. So we also started a timeline together. So my year 4 has his own like accordion timeline. We just made it by hand. I could put a video of that together if you want. My year 3 has the same one. They have different things on their timeline because they're studying different time groups in their books. And I won't go into too much detail on that, but it's been really fun, and I think that is a solid way to make connections and help your kids start to see like people that lived at the same time. And then I'm just going to keep on doing that. So and then my year 1, I'm just doing a little personal timeline. So he has a 1-page basically timeline of his life, and we don't do that often, honestly. But we do our timeline with my older 2 weekly. The other thing I love is I just love how many books that we never ever would have read or discovered unless we were doing this. The downside is that there's so many good books that there's not a lot of room for other books. And so that to me is the downside of Ambleside Online so far, is like it is almost too full for my preference, because we are all just a little bit burnt out of like wanting to add any other kind of interesting book to the day because we're like done and want to go have our free time. And so so with that being said, I ended up cutting Age of Fable for my year 4, and Michelangelo I cut out for my year 3, the biography. And that was just a really huge thing. I had to chop something out because I was getting too frizzled and fried. It was too full for me. Another thing I would say that we ended up doing really well at first was the recitation every day. So each of my kids would recite, you know, the poems that were assigned, or the Bible verses that were assigned, and then they would jump into their copywork. Then we started packing for our move, and we moved, and we kind of just got all out of sorts, and I haven't added that back in. So I would say they only did the recitation probably half of the term 1, and I want to get back into that for term 2 because it really does help with their learning to read out loud, their learning to project their voice, learning to pronunciate clearly, and it also, you know, helps them to memorize the thing that they're reading every single day, the same thing. And so you know, on accident almost, they're memorizing at least parts of these recitations. So that was kind of cool. I want to get back into it because we definitely fell off the bandwagon for that. Okay, so there's a few concerns I have being new to this, and I think that probably these will get ironed out with time and practice, but I will say that I just kind of get a little bit worried that there are so many book readings and that continues to grow. Even hypothetically, though, your older children, you know, become independent, I can see how that would happen as they read their own readings, but it is still a lot of readings. So there's more book readings for my year 4 than there is for my year 3, and she has more book readings than my year 1. We've never done year 2, but I'm assuming it's kind of progressively more like the same. And so it's just a lot, and I kind of worry that like it will be too much or so much that maybe it could like suck a little bit of the joy of learning out, or that it could potentially just feel like, you know, just so much book reading. We're not used to it. I think we're getting better at it, and the kids' expectations have changed a little bit. So now they kind of know, like, you know, my year 2 knows she has, or sorry, my year 3 knows that she has 2 to 3 readings every day and 2 to 3 narrations every day. My year 1 knows that he has 1 to 2. And my year 4 knows that he probably has 3 to 4. I'm not sure as we get older and they have more books to read, how it's going to go having kind of a full schedule. I don't know if we'll be the diehards that are like, we're going to keep to the schedule, or if we're going to be the ones that are like, you know what, let's take a book out here, book out there, and kind of adjust it to make school a little bit more like relaxed for us. I'm not sure yet. I think so. Another thing that was kind of new to me was the whole, when do we fit in free reads? So I kind of thought, there's no way my kids are going to read any of these free reads, let alone this huge list that they literally, this like amazing list of books that they could read, because they're so burnt out by the time that we're done with our readings. They don't want to listen to an audiobook. They don't want to listen to another story and focus on something else. Like, they just didn't really want to. And so I was kind of worried about how these were going to get fit in. And the way that we did it, and they made it each through a few free reads, probably about one a month, I would say. And that, smaller free reads, but still one a month, is they would read 20 minutes a day. I'd say, go grab your free read book and you can read 20 minutes a day. You don't have to narrate, just go read. And I think that maybe that even wasn't enough time. Like, we could probably up it for them, but that's the way that they were able to finish a few of those free reads. And then from what it sounds like, and I'd love to hear from you if you guys have any experience with this, but from what I've heard from other Ambleside moms is that, like, a lot of people will kind of plow through the free reads during the times they're not doing school. So, summertime is where you can fit in a ton of free reads and you don't have to narrate, just enjoy it. You can do audiobooks or not, like, whatever. And so I'm kind of banking on, like, that's going to be our time when we don't have any other obligations, where we can actually just read for fun. So I'd say for their 20 minutes a day reading, they, have to obviously read a book, and so they're using the physical book. But for any of the other free reads, if they want, just during their downtime, we also ended up getting a couple of the Yodo minis, and I've been using LibriVox to do the make your own cards, and that has been really fun. And so we'll probably do more of that when we have more spare time. But if you want to know how to make your own Yoda mini card, I'll put that video in the description for you too. It's awesome, and it's the cheapest way to do the Yoda mini. So a few things that we did not get to this term because I want you to see just how, human we are and how we put all this pressure on ourselves to do so much, but in reality, life happens and we're doing the best we can, but we don't always get to everything. So the things we didn't get to, though, are Shakespeare. I'd heard a lot of people recommend on the Facebook group, just don't even start Shakespeare or Plutarch until you've had a chance to just learn how to do the school readings, then go ahead and add in other stuff. And that was good advice for us because it would have been too much. I kept thinking, maybe we'll try it. It just would have been too much. And so we're going to try it term one. We're not going to do different readings for each kid like is recommended in their schedules. We're all going to do it together. So I'm going to do Lamb's version of one of the plays. And if that goes well and we're still in the middle of term two, I'll do another one. But if we only get to one, then yay, that's like a big step forward. And that's my plan for Shakespeare. Plutarch, we didn't get to. I'm not going to do that this year. It's just too much for me. I want to, enjoy this, and I want to just learn slowly how to add things in. And I'm totally fine if we don't do Plutarch right now. Without Ambleside Online, I never would have even heard or known about Plutarch. So to me, it's like, whatever. If we wait a year or two on that, not a big deal. The other thing that we haven't gotten to yet is Spanish, and I do have a Spanish book recommended from Simply Charlotte Mason that I'm using with the audio files to kind of like tell us how to speak Spanish, because I don't speak Spanish, my husband doesn't speak Spanish. So for us, we're just going to do our best. We're going to try a little bit every day, maybe 5 minutes, just going over some vocabulary and going over some phrases. And it seemed like a cool program. I can't update on how it is because we haven't used it yet, but then also the other thing that went to the wayside was nature journaling. We did do nature study. I feel like nature study is something I love, so I do want to bring nature journaling back in. I'm going to have to schedule that down on a certain day of the week because otherwise it just gets forgotten. We also did not do the Bible readings in Ambleside Online. So that really confused me at first. I wasn't sure how that was supposed to work. We did do Bible readings together as a family, so that's something we combined as well, in addition to combining poetry and combining the nature study and combining hymns together and combining like the folk songs together. So this was something we did together, all the same Bible reading. You could pick any one of the years, that you wanted to do. But as far as what we had scheduled, I knew I could not do the Bible readings for year one, read the Bible readings to my year three, have them narrate those, and then possibly my year four, maybe have him do them on his own. I was just like, it's way too much for me. We're just going to all do it together and we're not going to narrate. For me, that was just what I felt like I needed to do. And what I have heard from other Ambleside moms who have waited on the Bible readings as well. A lot of them have said that they have waited to do the actual readings on the list here until their kid is at the age that they can do them on their own. And at that point, they start adding them into their schedule. So maybe you're 4 for you, maybe you're 3 for you, maybe you're 5 for you. So for me right now, we're not planning on doing that right now. And so that's one less thing that each child is narrating each day as well. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that we also have really enjoyed the geography from Simply Charlotte Mason. So Ambleside Online has some really light recommended geography kind of on the back of their schedule for each year of just a few topics you can cover. And we bought the books for that, so I might look over that at the end of the term. But as far as like mapping goes and things like that, we have really enjoyed Simply Charlotte Mason's. We're doing the visits to Africa right now, so they just get to basically learn to see the map, and then they have to copy those countries onto the blank map, and then they get to create their own map, and then they also get to meet families from different countries that they are mapping. So we have the book Material World and Hungry Planet, and so every once in a while there's a lesson from one of those, and the kids get to see pictures of like what their life looks like there and what they eat there and what's in their houses, and that's been kind of cool. So we'll probably keep doing that. I really like that, but you definitely don't have to do something like that. You could just keep it simple and use their recommended geography reads here. But yeah, please go ahead and ask me any questions you have. I really want to hear how, if you're doing Ambleside, how your first term went, what age kids you have, and what are some of your struggles that you are, you know, just working through and learning how to do with Ambleside. So I feel really proud of us for what we did get to, and I also realized like this is a process. So a lot of people take years to get all of the Ambleside online subjects like ironed out in a way that makes sense for their homeschool. And so don't feel bad if you are like me and you are not getting everything. Don't feel bad if, like me, you are going to take one new thing each term and see how you can add it in. And then, you know, in a couple years, if you're still doing this, you're going to have a good rhythm. Made it this far, thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and be sure to check out the description for other Ambleside Online videos.